sweat. Like I'm kind of scared, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're good now. I will be sharing with you all each and every single one of the books that I read this year. I've been looking forward to this literally since the start of the year. Fucking cat hair all over me. Yeah, so it's really exciting. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Stick around, grab a snack, whatever your heart's desire, really. And let's get straight into this video. I just wanted to say as well, I will not be talking about these books. Like I won't be describing them. I'm literally just going to tell you the rating. Started off this year, the very first book had to be a Harry Potter book. And it would have been nice for like my very last book of the year to be a Harry Potter book, but it's fine. It didn't turn out that way because I was just eager to get through them. I loved them so much. So I wanted to embark on reading all the Harry Potter books in my 20s, like rereading them, and it was really, really exciting for me. Please do not judge me for having a different cover for every fucking book, okay? Because when I was younger, I had all of the really pretty original covers, and I don't know where they went, but we've moved houses countless times. Anyway, so I had to source all of these throughout my whole life ever since, and a lot of them are thrifted. So yeah, but it's fine because it's a book. A book is a book. Get over it, you know? All right, so we started off with The Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It was a 5-star. Obviously, it was just incredible. Then we moved on to The Chamber of Secrets. I loved it. The second one it's very near and dear to me. The third one, it is probably my favorite out of all of them. The Prisoner of Azkaban. It was beautiful. This whole series is a 5 stars, so I don't need to go into like how it was rated really. The Goblet of Fire has always been my favorite movie, but in my 20s now I've decided it is definitely up there, but Prisoner of Azkaban has my heart. It has everything of mine. I honestly love it so much. So, but yeah, look at like how well I read this. Like, this is the one and only one that I kept as a kid, so it's had a lot of wear and tear. Then Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, which was, I'm pretty sure, my most, like the most amount of pages that I read this year. Then I moved on to Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I really loved rereading this book. I loved it so much. I found it was more intriguing to read, especially the last two, like these last two, Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows. I was like, whoa, it was just so fascinating. And look at how tiny this book is. But it was evil. It was so evil. It was so sad. And I loved it so much. It is a 5-star fucking series. The next book that I read this year, I'm pretty sure I gave this a 3 stars. It is a self-help book. I gave it a 3 stars. It is really, really cute. It is called The Blue Day Book by Bradley Trevor Grieve. I got this from my grandma a couple of years ago, and yeah, I suffer with depression and other mental health issues, and it is just really nice, and I'm definitely going to reread this tonight. I'm pretty sure I need it, but it's so cute. The blurb says, everybody has blue days. Oh, what to do. Who knows what fantastic things are in store just around the corner. Get out there and go for it. Live every day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. And it's pretty much like each page is a photo of an animal with a story that goes along, and it's kind of, it just keeps cheering you up. But also the way the animal's like posing, or like how the picture is captured, it relates to what it says on each page, which is really cute. So yeah. The next book that I read was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to be honest with you, the only thing I remember was all the sex scenes. And I'm probably going to have to, well, I definitely am this year. I'm going to be doing a reread of all of the Sarah J. Maas books. So very exciting. Like, this whole year is going to be a Sarah J. Maas year. I want her to be like my most read author of the year, because this year it was just J.K. Rowling because of the Harry Potter rereads. Yeah, so this is Nestor and Cassian. It is one of the final books in the series at the moment, at present, and it's very erotic. It was intense. That's all I can remember. I'm sorry. So the next book that I read was Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I gave this a 4.5 stars from what I can remember, and I loved it so much. It was my first gay romance of the year, and it was perfect. I definitely loved the book a lot more, like how it was in depth rather than the movie that was on Amazon Prime. I completely enjoyed it thoroughly, but not as much as the book. I just felt like there was a lot missing in the movie, but maybe they only had a certain budget, so I'm not going to judge it too much. And obviously I still loved like certain moments of the movie and their chemistry, and I saw most of what was I saw all of it come to life, you know, from the book, so I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of the Grindelwald. This is the original screenplay, and it was really cute. I read it in literally like an hour. It was so fun. It was so cute. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars or maybe a 3.5. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but it was cute. Doesn't beat the first one. Like, the first one was incredible. Okay, the next book I read, I literally can't believe this. I actually read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't really like it, to be honest. So yeah, and I also don't like remember anything. It was so boring. I'm so sorry for saying that, but it was so boring. These are just my opinions. I'm so sorry. Like, I definitely am wanting to reread it again, because I just, like, this whole year you can see, especially in my wrap up, I'm pretty sure it was yeah, in my January wrap up, so in my January wrap up I was talking about this book, so you can see my initial thoughts. It would have been very, very fresh as well, because I would have only just finished this maybe a couple days before January ended, and I gave it I felt obliged, honestly, to give it a 5 stars, but I ended up actually changing it to 4 stars. I still think it's genius. I still think it is genius, especially the ending. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was entirely freaked out. I thought it was still incredible writing. So there's no shame and there's no hate to the writing and Donna Tartt, like, at all, I promise. It just didn't align with me and my brain, you know what I mean? But I still think it is a very well-written book. It's just not for me. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Next book that I read, I actually started reading the Magnolia Parks series. I have read so far 3. So I've got Daisy Hates the Great Undoing to go, and I'm pretty sure there's another one, like a new Magnolia Parks coming out, because the fucking ending to this one scared the shit out of me, and I knew, like, don't leave me on a cliffhanger like that, you know what I mean? So these are pretty much the most toxic books that I've ever read in my life. Especially mostly Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne's relationship. I did actually feel obliged to give it a 5 stars when I first read it. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that, because I actually fucking hated it. I hated it so much. It left me so frustrated. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, this first one, right? I was like, you know what? This is just crazy. But in saying that, the writing style, Jessa Hastings, is incredible. She's a lyricist. Like, it's very lyrical. Like, it was beautiful, the way she wrote things, the way all things were described, mostly feelings, and like the plans of what the person was. So it's a definitely dual point of view in both the Magnolia Parks books. I think the whole book is very symbolic, especially the covers as well. Like, you'll see it at face value first. You'll be like, okay, what's going on there? So it's got to mean something, you know what I mean? And even the back photos as well. I think it is still a masterpiece, and I did end up changing my mind. I changed it to 5 stars because while I was reading Daisy Hates, I was like, you know what, actually, it has been going on in my mind that I still think it's incredible, you know what I mean? Because I'm not judging it at all. Like, it's their relationship, you know what I mean? That's just how their relationship turned out to be. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. The back of the blurb says, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? She is a beautiful, self-involved and mildly neurotic London socialite. He is Britain's most photographed bad boy who broke her heart. But Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne are meant to be, aren't they? Yeah, it's just crazy. But in saying that, Magnolia Parks, she is so beautiful, and there's so many things that they say, like quotes. Like, I annotated this book. I thought it was crazy. I was writing my own notes in it and everything. It was insane. And then I ended up feeling sick about it, so I was like, I'm not going to annotate the rest of them. I loved Daisy Hates More out of all three of them. I align better with it. I love Christian so much. He is so fucking beautiful. Love Daisy, she's a bitch, but they all are, aren't they, you know? Yeah, this is like mafia, I'm guessing, vibes. Like, they've obviously gone through such trauma. It's crazy. And then I just recently actually finished Magnolia Parks: A Long Way Home, and I really loved this one. At first I was like, what am I getting myself into? Because I did not like BJ. I was like, how the fuck are there any redeeming qualities to this person or this whole relationship? And somehow she twisted my arm. She twisted my arm. I was going to say something very inappropriate before, but she twisted my arm, and I was like, okay, you did it. You fucking did it. You know what I mean? But still, it's not, I'm still a Daisy Hates girl. You know what I mean? As in, like, that's my favorite kind of story out of the Jessa Hastings books. So yeah, I have a little bit more to go, but I will let you know next year. But I will let you know in January what I think of my Daisy Hates and the Great Undoing. That's if I do end up reading it, but I'm pretty sure I will put it on my TBR for then. So yeah. It's crazy. The next book I read was My Policeman. I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars from what I believe, and I loved it. It was like probably one of the first literary fiction books this year where I was like, hang on, I'm understanding this. My brain is adapting to this sort of writing style. It's set in the 1950s. Harry Styles he plays Tom, the police, and it's like pretty much about him. There's some really famous quotes, like, there were 3 of us in this marriage. Set in Brighton, England. We're facing a lot of like shame in that society. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just actually a crazy love story. One worth reading and watching on Prime Video. Next book I read, this one actually was probably one of the first books this year that killed me. Like, I actually felt a part of myself die at the end of this. So this is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I thought it was absolutely fucked up, like in the best way possible, but also the worst. I was like I was rooting for a certain team in this book, and I'm not going to say anything else because I just don't want to spoil it, but it was honestly so beautiful, and the title in itself says a lot. One True Loves. You can have many loves in your life, even if you think in that moment that this person is the only person for me. You know what I mean? Anyway, and it's such a fucking easy size book. It's perfect. It's so perfect. Heartbreaking in every way, and it's so different to all of her books. Taylor Jenkins Reid, like, that was the first book of hers where I was like, oh, hang on. I was like, okay, I like this kind of style. Like, it's more like, it was definitely more heartbreaking, and yeah, it was a mature read. I loved it. So I didn't recently, but this year I thought, let's start off with Jennifer Lynn Barnes's The Inheritance Games. I have all 3, and I love them so much. Like, I'm gonna start crying for some reason. I don't know, they're just like life-changing for me, and I want my future kids to read these books. They are so incredible. I literally remember when I was reading these books, I was talking about it to my students at work, and I was like, oh my god, guys, I'm reading a YA mystery fiction book. Like, this is so cute. Like, and they were all like, oh, not all of them, but a couple of them were like, oh yeah, I've read that, I'm reading that right now. And I'm like, fuck. Like, oh my god, I'm just such a kid at heart, you know what I mean? But like, it is so cute. It is just so cute and crazy. A great example with most movies. Okay, High School Musical, High School Musical 2. Which one's the best one? High School Musical 2. What else? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Which one's the better? You know what I mean? Or Twilight New Moon. Which one's the better one? New Moon. So, I mean, that's just my opinion anyway, but still, I didn't think you could top this, because I just, at the end of the day, sometimes, in most of the time, like, as a plain Jane that I am, I do like the original things. Like, I'm very like, yeah, I'm set on that. Like, it can't get any better than this. The Hawthorne fucking Legacy was so good. It just kept uncovering everything that we needed to know. It was crazy. And then the third book, I was just kind of like, oh, all right. You can tell she was tired. But I still liked it. This was my least rated book out of the 3. I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4, and then these 2 a 5. So we've got the Inheritance Games, the Hawthorne Legacy, and the Final Gambit. I really wanted more on this whole like gambit, as in like chess, you know what I mean? But we really only got it at the end, and it still had a great ending, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, we've got Found Family, Forced Proximity, Love Triangle, but not too much. And it is incredible. Incredible. Okay, now we're moving on to all the self-help books, because I was in my witchy era again. I usually go through my witchy era every October through to December, but I had it earlier on this year, and I was like, okay, like, we'll embrace it. It is what it is. So I have all these really cute tarot and witchy books, which is really cute. And I'm not I'm not a non-fiction girly at all. I'm definitely a fiction girl through and through. But I will explain to you just like quickly, because I have in the past dabbled in a lot of spirituality, and I still am very spiritual myself. It's just not my biggest hobby. Like, my hobby at the moment consumes me, and there's books, and it's still so fun. And I'm a crystal girly. I love crystals. Like, I love tarot. I just recently did a tarot reading the other night. Like, it was fun. Anyway, so we've got Moon Magic. It is a handbook of lunar cycles, lore, and mystical energies by Aurora Kane. I really loved this one, and I have actually tabbed a few pages of this to help me, especially because like I used to be on track with like what moon it was every night. I was checking, I was doing moon rituals. When I had a bath, I used to do like moon baths and everything. I used to be like a bath girly, like for my own sanity and everything, and I would make it very beautiful and spiritual experience. Don't have a bath, but hoping when we move out soon that we find a place with a bath, because I'm gonna be getting back into this shit, okay? So this might be a reread next year, but I don't know, we'll see. Then we've got my astrology book. I love this book so much, because I was in my astrology era in 2021. It was crazy. It was actually crazy. So this is by Sasha Fenton. It is really, really good. It's probably one of the best like astrology books that I've read. Like, it's really helpful. It's all broken down. There's lots of imagery and everything in this book. It teaches you how to learn how to do the charts. So yeah, it's actually insane. It has everything linked. So all the books that I have like in front of me right now for this self-help, it's kind of all interconnected into this book. Not saying like the exact books are, but the knowledge, the facts, they're all kind of interconnected, if that makes sense. The next book I actually got this from my ex-best friend a while ago, and praise him, love him, but I always think about him, and I always look at this book, and I'm still grateful. I'm still very grateful. And if you are watching this, hello, I miss you, and I wish you well. I wish you well, and sorry for everything that happened, but sending you lots and lots of love. Sorry, that's really awkward. Sorry, and you're probably like thinking that's so icky. Anyway, so we've got this the little book of practical magic by Sasha Bartlett. It's a beginner's guide to crystals, auras, horoscopes, and spells. I have this whole book like completely tabbed. Like, it's pretty much giving Half-Blood Prince, like in Harry Potter, you know how Snape has his own potions book, like he made that his Half-Blood Prince book. This is mine. Like, I've got it tabbed on all the specific pages that I need for certain spells and stuff. Like, it's so cute and quiche. Another Sarah Bartlett book is the little book of Moon Magic. It's very similar to the Lunar Cycles, the Moon Magic book that I first picked up. This is Working with the Power of Lunar Cycles. Anyway, all really cute stuff. I gave these all pretty much 3 and 4 stars. And then the tarot, I actually reread this the other night, but not like fully. But this is the Tarot by Stephen Bright. It is a personal guide to tarot. It's really cool. It's really cool. And in the back of these books, it comes with posters, like big cute posters, and they're all over my house at the moment. I reread the Heartstopper books. It's a 5-star series. It is incredible. Heartstopper is also one of the best TV adaptations. I think, in my personal opinion, it's beautiful. It means so much to me. I'm obsessed with Heartstopper. It's fucked. The next book I read was the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. This is City of Bones. It is a fantasy novel. I gave it a 4.5 stars because I just love it so much. And the movie of it is my favorite movie in the whole entire world. It has always been since I was, I think I was like 13, 14 or 15, around that age where I was like hooked. And I used to watch it literally every single weekend. And I have been doing that ever since. Almost every single weekend, especially in my 20s. Sorry. I just love it so much. You know what I mean? Jamie Campbell-Bower and Lily Collins have my heart. They really do. Yeah, you can hear all of my thoughts about this book because I have spoken about this in my monthly wrap-up for this, as well as my top 23 books of 2023. I'm pretty sure I was speaking about it, but yeah, loved it. The next book I read, unfortunately my Beb has possession of this book right now, so I don't have it physically with me right now, but it is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I gave this a 5 stars. It definitely didn't feel like an Emily Henry book though, but I loved it at the same time. It was very different to both Book Lovers and Beach Read, because I haven't read People We Meet on Vacation, but I am yet to read that. I think it's going to be exciting. But yeah, Happy Place, I loved it. I really, really loved it. I loved how the dynamic was different and it involved more people as main characters. You know what I mean? I thought that was really nice. Yeah, I just thought it was really cute, and I love a second chance romance. They're my favorite. They're my favorite tropes. Second chance romance and enemies to lovers. They're my 2 fucking favorites, and I don't think I'll ever be able to change them because I just fucking love them. Sorry for my profanity. Okay, the next book I read, I'm sorry, I just love The Hunger Games so much. Suzanne Collins has my heart. She has my soul. The Hunger Games, I ended up giving this, because this is a reread, I ended up giving this a 4 stars just because I'm so stupid. I ended up like rereading this at the same time I was reading like 3 other books, and I was just so unmotivated, and I was actually a bitch. Like, I was just moody and I was going through a slump at the same time, and I was like, it took me the whole month to read this book, and I was just kind of like, why am I putting bad energy into this? But I know, like, for the first time when I first read this, I gave it a 5 stars. So it's obviously a 5-star book. But anyway, loved it. Fucking loved it. Dystopian movies and books are my favorite. Oh my god, okay, so this book means a lot to me. This next one I read was I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I think it was fantastic. As I said in my reading wrap-up and also my top 23 books of 2023, I didn't want to rate this anything other than a 5 stars or nothing, because obviously it's based on her real story. Like, this is her own story, and I'm not going to rate her own life. But because it was such a good book, I ended up giving it 5 stars because she endured such an intense life. Like, and I'm so heavily inspired by her because I'm also an aspiring actress, you know, and just seeing what she went through from literally it's like all chronological order. She did it, and what an incredible human she is. Okay, so the next books that I read, just pretend that I've got the 2 other books because I don't actually have physical copies of them, because I ended up purchasing the audiobooks to them on Audible, and I love them and I'm never going to get rid of them. I love it so much. But I ended up reading Holly Jackson's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read this whole series in 2 days. I was obsessed with it. I devoured it. It is a 5-star series. The second book, I didn't really like it as much. Like, I kind of remember, like, there were some moments where I was like, what's going on? Like, I blanked. I was like, what's going on? But it was intense. It was very intense. When I first read this was my first ever thriller book in my 20s. And I was just like, wow! I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. It's a thriller mystery. It was crazy. And yeah, I loved it. There's kids screaming in my neighborhood and I don't like the sound of it. It scares me and I don't like it. Okay, the next book I read was Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I love this book and I love this movie more than anything. It's one of my favorite movies. I gave this a 4 stars. I thought it was so cute. Look at the font of this. It was so tiny. But yeah, it's such a cute romance book. It's very like, I'm marrying into a rich family, but not like, I don't love that rich side of him. I just love him for him. Like, it's so cute. It was so fucking cute. I just love it so much. Next 3 books I read on Audible. It's called Starry Skies Over the Chocolate Pot Cafe by Jessica Redland. I actually don't remember anything of this book. I'm sorry. But I ended up giving it 3 stars because it was still cute in the moment. And then the next book I read was All Eyes on Us by Kit Frick. And I actually liked this one. I liked it. It is a thriller. Anyway, so yeah, All Eyes on Us by Kit Frick. It is a thriller, also mystery. I don't really remember a lot of it, but I remember liking it in the moment, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was kind of like high school, like they were based in high school. Anyway, the next book that I read was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald. And I love the 1920s. Like, I was a flapper girly. I have always done my research because obviously I'm a performer, and I've done lots of dance pieces and art pieces where I have had to dress up and perform in flapper dresses and that kind of 1920s style. I remember one of my first babysitting gigs when I was younger. I ended up watching the movie of this and I fell asleep throughout it actually, but I remember waking up at midnight. It was like around midnight, and the mum came in and she was like, "Hi, what are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, I'm watching The Great Gatsby." And she was like, "Oh, do you want me to take you home now?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you." But I watched it because Leonardo, oh my god, when I was younger, I used to tell everyone that Leonardo DiCaprio was my favorite actor, and he is still one of my favorite actors, but I'd be like, "Oh my god, guys, he's so hot." And I thought it was so cute of me to always say that, like even when I was young, like young, I'd be like, "He's so hot." And people would be like, "Yeah, well, I like Zac Efron right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I like him too." But I liked mature movies and stuff as well. Anyway, it was cute. It's still like 5-star worthy, but it was cute. It was very like historical. I liked that. Okay, we're moving into my favorite part of this year. Well, it's one of my favorite parts of this year was, this is just revolutionary. Picking up Elsie Silver's series, the Chestnut Springs series. So far, I've only read the first 3. I have still got 2 left, which is really exciting. Literally like 2 nights ago, I finished reading Powerless. But anyway, sorry. All 3 of these are 5 stars. In my eyes, obviously. This one didn't make me cry. It just made me like gush and like blush, and also I was incredibly aroused. This one I was also incredibly aroused most of the time, but I was also like screaming and frustrated, and then I ended up like crying so much at the end because I was like rooting for the situation. And this one I didn't end up crying because I was just like, the whole time I was like, I was like, everything is perfect, everything is so great, everything is just incredible. And I was like, but I was really aroused in this. Like Jasper Gervais is my boyfriend. Anyway, yeah, so I gave them all 5 stars. Elsie Silver has my heart. It's country romance. This one, he is a bull rider. His name is Rhett. These 2 brothers, and Summer Hamilton is the daughter of Rhett's manager, or like I don't know, I've kind of forgot, sorry. And he pretty much, like, Rhett got in trouble for making a comment about milk, literally about milk, but it's in a small town and apparently it's offensive, and everyone hated him for a while. And she's like, "You know what, I'm going to come in and I'm going to be your babysitter, I'm going to take the reins with you." And it ended up being really hot. It was really hot, and I loved it. And there's so many hot quotes in this book. And then in the second one, Summer's best friend Willa comes to the small town for the summer holidays, and she's looking for like a summer job, even though she's fine financially apparently. And yeah, she had never had any babysitting experience, and he was looking for a nanny, little Cade, and Cade is the eldest as well, so there was it's a bit of an age gap. It was hot though, because she was my age, and I was like, fuck yeah, cunt. I was like screaming. I was like, I kind of want a boyfriend like Cade, you know what I mean? And I also love the names as well, like Rhett and Cade. That is hot. That is actually so hot, you know what I mean? Yeah, and he's just like grumpy, he's a gruff, you know what I mean? And Will is like the ray of sunshine that just like reminds him of a happy life, you know, like brings that energy. And he also has a son, and it's really, really cute. Like, Luke is so cute. Luke, every time Luke spoke, I was like, I love you so much, and I want to be your mum. Like, I actually want to be your mum. You know what I mean? Okay, and then the third one. So this one's a little bit more, like, complicated because Jasper Gervais, you will picture him as one of his... Sorry, you will picture him as one of the brothers, but he's actually not biologically their brother. Harvey, the main dad, like the dad of all the brothers of these books, he adopted Jasper due to some issues in Jasper's life when he was younger. So Jasper's been in their life forever, pretty much. And Jasper's in his 30s in this book as well, which is really cute. He meets Sloane when she's 10 years old. And like Sloane is the cousin to all the boys in these books, in this series. So she's the cousin, and there's always these jokes saying, oh, like, you got a crush on your cousin, like, yada, yada, yada. But obviously, like, they're not, like, it's not like that because he's adopted. But it's still fine. Like, it's fine, okay? Jasper Gervais is so hot. And then in the fourth book, Theo is Rhett's friend, Theo da Silva, I'm pretty sure that's his name. And it's about Theo and Winter. So Winter is Summer. I know it's so stupid, the names. Summer's sister, her biological half sister. Winter, everyone calls her Tink. So that's kind of cute. I'm excited. I'm going to start reading that really soon. It's probably going to be one of my first books of January. I'm so excited. And then the fifth one is about Beau. He is the military brother of the Eaton boys. And he's mentioned so much in this book, like, but there was also so many hints of Winter and Theo in this book as well. So I was kind of like, fuck, like, I just want to read this all now. Like, I'm in my country era, you know what I mean? I'm a country girl, and I'm gonna shake it for me, girl. Yeah, loved it so much. Like, this whole series just makes me feel like a giddy little queen. I ended up tabbing all of my favorite sex scenes in the third one because at the moment the sex scenes in the third one are my favorite. So, and I read This Winter by Alice Oseman, same author for the Heartstopper books. This is so cute. I should have read this like actually like near Christmas because it is the Christmas book that you read. Oh my god, it's like damaged. It's got shit all over it. It says, time to pretend we're a perfect family. So there's just like family issues on both sides of the book in their point of views. And yeah, they're just having a rough night. This whole book is literally just like a whole night. And there are like certain pages where you do see the comic. Well, not comic, but you do see the picture and the story, and you obviously see the text and everything, which is really, really cute. But it is like solely a written book, which is nice. So I loved it. I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I ended up giving it 5 stars. Oh my god, Frida McFadden, it was my first Frida McFadden book that I've ever read in my life, and I loved it. The plot twist was so scary. It was so scary and so creepy, and I was like, I need to finish this right now. Like, I had to like completely write the whole day off. I was like, no. The whole world can stop because I need to read this whole book. I need to know what happens now. Because once it got to the twist, I was like, you're joking. You're joking. Anyway, it was just fabulous. You honestly have to read it. It's a big recommend. It's a big recommendation. Next book I read was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first novella book of the Throne of Glass series, and I'm going to be honest with you, I actually don't remember anything of this book other than conversations that I'm fucking hyper fixated on with Selena and Sam. So I will literally, like in the first couple of days, especially tomorrow as well, of the new year, I'm going to be rereading this book and Throne of Glass. So I just have it a good like reminder of like what's to come for the rest of the year. So it'll be good because I am going to be reading pretty much all of Sarah J. Maas books next year. I'm really excited. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I was just kind of confused the whole time, but then I realized, I was like, hang on, there's like 4 or 5 stories in this book. So just hold your horses. But also other people were saying that they don't understand what's going on either. So I was like, oh. And then other people were saying, you don't need to read that right now. Why are you reading that now? And then other people are like, no, you have to read this first. And I'm like, guys, just let me fucking breathe. All right? I am in a world of confusion. I read Throne of Glass. Oh, I can't. I've got Throne of Glass coming up, okay, soon, all right? But I read that, and even I was a little bit confused too. But I'm going to reread it, so I'm excited. The next book I read was Before We Were Strangers by The next book I read was Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I ended up giving this a 4.75 stars. It is perfection. It is so cute. It is ridiculous as well. Like, New York romance. They're both artsy-fartsy people. Just big miscommunication happens. Like, the biggest miscommunication ever. And it is so good. It's like so worthwhile. Like, read it in a whole day. You'll thank me later. It's so cute. It's giving like fall vibes. Like, oh, I love it so much. I read it in spring though, in Australia time. So we're in the Southern Hemisphere. Whenever it's spring for you guys, it's autumn for us. But whenever it's autumn for you, it's spring here. So it's kind of annoying, but whatevs. Then the next book I read was Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. I ended up giving it a 5 stars because it was giving Fleabag, and I love Fleabag. I have rewatched Fleabag once, and I want to do another rewatch because I love it so much. I also this year, like, on my wish list for books is to get the Fleabag, the scriptures, like, so good. And I love like British TV. Like, oh my god, I grew up watching British TV because my mum has always been into British TV as well, and I loved it so much, and the book was really giving that. It was also LGBTQIA plus at the same time. It just reminded me of like an erratic brain. Like, why are you making these decisions? Also, why do you feel this way? She's definitely neurodivergent. Well, that's just how I'm perceiving it. Like, it hasn't been completely confirmed, I don't believe. But yeah, it's just kind of like an innocent, funny book at the same time. Like, it was just really cute. Yeah, I loved it so much, and I'm going to definitely reread it next year. Loved it. This book I read was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And that was by Sangu Mandana. Sorry, I was looking that way just to see how to say it, because like, if it's a long story title, I jumble my brain up. Okay, sorry. I loved this book. I ended up giving it a 4.25 stars, I'm pretty sure. It surprised me as well. Like, going into it, I was so excited because, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, I really like spiritual things and like witchy stuff, and obviously like it was so cute, and it was set like in this kind of time, I'm pretty sure, because they mentioned TikTok and everything, and I was picturing Simone Ashley as the main girl, and I was picturing I think his name's Jamie, but in real I think his name is Jamie in real life, but he is the guy that plays Christian Grey in all the 50 Shades of Grey movies, and I loved it so much. It was just really cute. It was definitely like found family, generosity. It was sexy as well, which I wasn't expecting, but I loved it. It was so good. Definitely a recommendation, definitely. This next book, this one, I was so excited to read this year. Like, I can't breathe thinking about this. It is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I ended up giving it a 5 stars. I have a whole reading vlog of me reading this, because that's like in this era when I was getting these books. I was in my like vlogging era of me reading and like vlogging my experience reading certain books. Definitely go watch it. Hopefully there's a tag here right now, or even just like I'll link it down below. Even like wait till the end, you'll see like a playlist, like a booktube playlist. Go click on that, and all of my vlogs are on there. It's so fun. Like, it was crazy. I had like a spoiler section where I was like, skip past this if you don't want to see spoilers, because I was just like talking about all of my thoughts. I don't really want to talk anymore other than that, because I have to remind myself that I said I wasn't going to talk about any of these books, because I literally have wrap-ups and I have vlogs, so you guys can all watch them. But yeah, definitely highly fucking recommend this book. It is a fantasy romance. It is so beautifully written. The themes of this is so incredible as well. Enemies to lovers. It's not heavy on the fantasy too, which is so cool. But one thing I really adored was their letters to each other, and just the chemistry, and The next book I read was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I wanted to read this because I was really heavily inspired by The White Lotus, the TV show. I love The White Lotus. It's definitely one of my favorite TV shows ever. I'm definitely going to rewatch that. It is so funny and also like creepy and intense and like also kind of scary. Sorry. And yeah, I was told that that book is like really good. Anyway, I can't really remember anything other than a scene where they're in bed and they're trying to get it on and shag and there's seaweed in the bed. People are just like malicious in this book, yada yada yada. I ended up giving it 3 stars because there were moments that I enjoyed it, but I'm sorry, I can't remember it. Next book was Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this a 4 stars. I felt obligated to give it a 5 stars at first because there was so much hype over this like for years and I've literally left it off for so long. But I actually loved this book. It was definitely like, it was giving like almost old Hollywood, but like just kind of seeing the growth of someone famous, which I liked because I love how Taylor Jenkins Reid does that. But I just loved like the flashbacks and then going into where they are currently. So like it is set in it's set in 1983, but there's flashbacks to their parents, and I loved how there was so many different characters in this book, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was like attached to all of them. I was really attached to Nina, and I was attached to the main mother. I can't remember her name. I think it's like Jude or something. Anyway, okay, the next book I read was The Power by Naomi Alderman. I gave this a 2 stars or a 1 star. I can't remember. I should have just not even given it a star, really. I can't remember a lot because that was probably the only book that I DNF'd this year. I just couldn't align myself and I also couldn't get into it. It was highly triggering. I obviously should have done my part in looking up the trigger warnings prior to reading it, but yeah, I was like very inspired by what's it called? Stranger Things, because I really love Stranger Things and I was craving it so much, and I still am, honestly, and I just wanted to read something similar to Stranger Things, and it did have similar aspects, like obviously like the telekinesis and shit and like powers and stuff, but yeah, there were just moments where I was like, can't read that. Yeah, but in saying that, Naomi Alderman is the writer for, I'm pretty sure, like some scripts of the Doctor Who, or even just like Doctor Who itself. I can't remember exactly, like don't quote me on that because I haven't done a lot of research, but there's no shade to Naomi because I fucking love Doctor Who. It was one of my favorite TV shows growing up, so yeah. Oh my god, okay, this was my favorite book of the whole year. It is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I gave this a 5 stars. It's literally a 6 stars in my eyes. It is so perfect. It is so beautiful. It is so crazy. It is fucked up in every way possible. I just love it. It's fantasy romance. It is so beautiful. And there's dragons. Literally, like, look, fly or die. Are you sold? Please be. Seriously. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. Add it to your 2024 fucking physical TBR. Add it. Next book I read was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I gave it a 4 stars. I really loved it. It was so cute. It's definitely like got magical realism. It's very like, oh yeah, I'm a writer and I don't believe in love or yada yada yada, and then all of a sudden someone comes into their life and they change their life for the better, and it's crazy, and she sees ghosts and it's really cute, and there's a moment where I'm like, no, and the whole time I'm rooting for that moment to like not stay like that, you know what I mean? But it was great. I loved it, and I'm currently reading an Ashley Poston book right now, and I wish that I had this in this I wish that I had the book in this video, but unfortunately I haven't finished it, so I can't. I'm just gonna be honest, but yeah, loved it, 4 stars. The next book that I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is the book that has just been in my mind every single day ever since I put it down. I can't stop thinking about it, and I just want Reckless to come now. I want Reckless to happen right now. This was the best $25 of my fucking money. I loved it so much. Like, if you put these two side by side, they are literally like the sisterhood of the goats. Like, I love them so much. Honestly, like, I can't begin to tell you how incredible this book is. It was a 5/6/11 star. It was so good. And it was just, I felt so grateful knowing that like these two were in the same TBR for the month and like in my wrap up, and I was like, guys, I have such a good wrap up. It was such a good monthly wrap up, and it was just so good because I was coming out of a really bad sickness, and this helped me so much. It really did. Yeah, and Kai and Peyton are honestly my favorite couple, my favorite book couple of the year. It was incredible. The next book, oh sorry, and it's very like Hunger Games vibes, but it was a lot more fantasy, which is really cute, so get on it, guys. The next book that I read was Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Yeah, I didn't give this a rating, but after it being on my mind for several months since reading it, I've come to terms with it and I've chosen to give it a 4 stars. I thought it was really fun and really unique. I also thought it was crazy. I thought it was very well written. Hard to sometimes understand with my brain. It's a sci-fi fiction. Yeah, I thought it was really unique, you know, like the vibes and aesthetic is like Mars, living on Mars, and like Mars is really important to me because obviously I'm an Aries and I just love it so much. So yeah, I loved it. I want to reread it. I actually want to finish the series as well. I might finish it, yeah. The next book that I read was Britney Spears' The Woman in Me. I gave it a 5 stars because I love Britney Spears so much. I've always been a massive Britney Spears fan and girly, like to this day. And yeah, I just love her story. It's obviously so fucking fucked up and heartbreaking. That's all I have to say. It's an autobiography. It was beautiful. The next book I read, this is another book that like I still think about as well. It is Wildfire by Hannah Grace, and it surprises me with the rating on Goodreads. Like the rating is lower than 5. Sorry, the rating is lower than 4 on Goodreads. I was looking at it yesterday and I was like, what the fuck? But also like it hasn't been out for too long, you know what I mean? So like I feel like more people will get to it next year, and then, you know, like, I don't know. I just like, I'm going to sell this book because I'm not actually going to sell it, but like, I'm trying to sell this to you guys. Like, I love it so much. You have to picture Madeline Klein from the Outer Banks, and you have to picture, Ross Lynch together in this book. They have lots and lots of conversations, and maybe that's what deters people away from, you know, rating it such a high book. But I thought it was really cute. I loved it so much. They were just so fucking cute, and it was just really helpful to picture Ross Lynch because he's one of my favorite guys in this whole world. I think he's so hot. I gave it a 5 stars. It was just crazy. Oh, and the Wildfire playlist as well is so cute. Like at the front of the book, there's a playlist, a Spotify playlist, so you have to listen to it. It's so cute. Next book I read was The Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. This is actually the first book of the series. As I said earlier, a lot of it I didn't really like fully grasp, so I'm definitely gonna have to do a reread, which I am literally like tomorrow and the day after, so I'm very excited. Just gonna like do my research on it because I really do want to get into this series because everyone has said it's incredible, and everyone that I know as well that's read all of the Sarah J Maas books, they've all said the Throne of Glass series would suit me and like what I like and everything, even though I've already read the Akatar series, and like I love fairies and everyone knows that I have like fairy tattoos on my body. This is just more like assassin-y vibes. I'm just like, I'm just so excited. So I am very excited. I ended up giving this a 4 stars from what I can believe. So yeah, it was really cute. The next book I read was a classic. It is The Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is a classic. It is so cute. It is perfect. It's perfect. That's all I really have to say. And I'm glad I read it. I'm really glad I finally have that knowledge in my mind now of like, you know, what it was like for them in the 1860s. Like it was crazy, you know what I mean? The next book I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I literally loved that book so much. It was so cute. I was picturing Brittany Snow as the main girl, Alexis, I'm pretty sure that's her name. I can't remember, I'm sorry. It was just so cute. It was a nice palette cleanser for me. I gave it a 4 stars. I really loved it. The next book I read was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm not gonna lie, I was really excited for this, and everyone has said like the next 2 books in the series are even better, so obviously I'm going to read them. But I thought, let's just get through this because it's been on my TBR for years. It's literally been on my TBR for years. And it was one of the first books that I actually purchased when I wanted to restart my book reading era, like a bookwormy girly. And I remember getting it delivered to the apartment and I was like, I'm so excited. And it came with the King of Eltham. It came with How the King of Eltham Learned to Hate Stories. Like the artwork in it is so pretty, and obviously the artwork and this as well is so cute, and at the end of every chapter. Anyway, what I've mentioned in my wrap up, I was talking about it, but pretty much my initial thoughts right now is I don't remember a lot other than the bickering and the intensity and the fights. But also, like, I was trying to picture Timothée Chalamet as the main guy, so I will get through it again. I purchased the audiobook of it, so it's definitely something that I could like listen to before I go to bed some nights, like as a reread, which is cute. The next book I read was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It was my first ever Ali Hazelwood book that I read, and I love it so much. She freaks me out. Her writing is so cute, and Zoe in my mind playing Olive, she is so cute. I can't say, it's like Zoe Deutsch or Deutsch or Doach. I don't know how to Deutsch. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so bad with names. But yeah, this is definitely like a cute little STEM romance. Adam is so hot in this, like so hot. I was freaked out. Like as soon as they went to the hotel, I was like, I know stuff's gonna happen. I know something's gonna happen. You know, when they have to share a fucking hotel room, we all know where that's gonna go, don't we? We all know, okay? Deep down. Us fucking hopeless romantics. We know that shit. And he became a man. He was a man. I was like, I am picturing you right now. And me in this situation, you know, like crazy. The next book I read was Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I gave this a 3 stars, but I don't like it. I shouldn't have given it 3 stars. You can see my freaking thoughts on the monthly reading wrap up. I read that in November, and yeah, it was just really dark, and like, it's just not something I would romanticize, and it freaks me out how like I see other booktubers like hype it up and talk about it, and they're like, I love it, and I'm like, really? Like, how can you justify what he did? Like, what's going on? Like, that's crazy, man. But anyway, I guess if I do end up reading the second book, we'll just see if there is any redeeming qualities. I don't know, okay? It's not on my plan to read the second one because it kind of was haunting, you know what I mean? Okay, the next book I read was The Mexican Gothic by Silvia Morano Garcia. I really liked it. And you know what's crazy? Like most of the time when I'm listening to books, I kind of zone out during it and then, you know, leap into it at the end, all the way through until the end. But it was the opposite for me. Like the start and throughout, I was like, what's going on? I was like, what is going on? Why is everything the way that it is right now? And it was so creepy. It was like a thriller. It was crazy. And it was gross. Like some parts I was like, ugh, I was trying not to vomit. Like it was crazy reading it. But then yeah, at the end I was just kind of like confused, and I was kind of like trying not to vomit. So yeah, that's my thoughts of that one. Then the next one that I read was Beach Read by Emily Henry. I finally did it, guys. I finally did it. And I gave it a 4 stars or a 4.5 stars. I loved it. I loved picturing, what's his name? Logan Lerman. I loved picturing Logan Lerman as Augustus, and I loved picturing Daisy Edgar Jones, I think that's her name. She plays Marianne in Normal People, and and I pictured her as January, and yeah. I just loved all of their conversations. I just loved everything about this book. It was so cute. It was so cute. And I literally was anticipating this book all year. I'd been staring at it on my bookshelf all year, and I was like, I need to get to you before watching the movie. And I never did until after the movie. But this is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I loved this. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars. Yeah, I gave it a 4 stars. I really, really loved like seeing how is he becoming evil. I was like, whoa, like this is so cool. There were some parts in the book that were different to the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Loved the movie so much though. I feel like a little girl whenever I think about it. I'm breaking dishes up in here all night. Like the edits of President Snow young. So hot. The next book I read was My Life with the Walter Boys by Ali Novak. And I ended up giving this one 3 stars just because I didn't really like it as much as I was watching the TV show. And I'm sorry, I'm one of those girlies that fucking went feral over the TV show. Like, I binged the whole thing in one day. I literally, like, I was seeing things, like, because I had heard about it, and it popped up on my Netflix saying this new TV show has come up on my Netflix, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. And then, like, I'm also in the middle of watching The Vampire Diaries, and I'm a big Summer I Turned Pretty fan, and I'm a big Conrad girly. Like, I love Conrad. Team Conrad always. And there were just so many videos on my TikTok coming up saying, like, have you learnt nothing? Or like, oh yeah. Yeah, so there was like the Sign of the Times song. It was like, will we ever learn we've been here before? And it was like slides of like The Summer I Turned Pretty, The Vampire Diaries, and then those two, like Julie and Alex and Cole, like all 3 of them. Frank! Baby, come here! A little baby. Hi! Hello, gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous. She's licking me. I love the Frank. I love her. You're so beautiful, Frank. Yeah, so pretty much I watched the TV show and I went feral over it. Like, I loved it so much. And I'm a Cole girly. I have experienced the Cole effect. Yeah, so I just think the TV show was better than the book, but still, like, it was nice to see where it came from, you know, like how it adapted, and seeing like all the differences in the book. Like, the book is very different, but it also was like still following the same thing. But also, like, I noticed there were more there was like more in the TV show, and I was like, I like the decisions you made now. Like, I actually literally finished it like 3 hours ago. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't included the last book, which is silly. It is Heartstopper 5, so I did read that today and I loved it. It's obviously a 5 stars and I am so grateful. So, but anyway, that is all the books that I read this year. I'm one happy girly, and I just wanted to say, this is my thank you speech at the fucking Oscars. I just want to say, like, just pretend I'm holding my trophy. I just want to say this is so special to me. Thank you so much. And Sarah Caroli and Steph Bohr and Haley Pham, and I want to thank this person for this and honestly, like, guys, I just want to say, like, it's been a big year for me, and this is like my little speech. Like, younger me would not have thought I could do something like this. I genuinely don't think younger me would be able to, because I have a learning disability where I find it really triggering for me sometimes to sit still, and it took a long time to learn properly. Like, there's lots and lots that went into my life when I was younger, and I struggled immensely in school with learning disabilities, etc. And I feel like younger me would be so proud of myself now. Sorry for crying. I'm sorry for crying. It's so funny. I'm sorry. This is so cringe. No, younger me would be so proud of myself, because all I ever wanted was to understand. All I ever wanted was to, you know, read a book, because I'm such a romanticist. Like, I always wanted to read like people, you know. I always wanted to read like people in the movies, and just seeing how cute it was. And I would go to libraries and I would go to bookstores and feel this beautiful, immense feeling, like, where I was like, I feel like I'm home. I feel like so comfy right now. Like, I love the smell of books. I love the feeling of escaping this world that I'm in right now and hopping into the pages. And I'm honestly so grateful. I just wanted to say I'm so grateful that I stuck to it, and this is the consistency that I want to bring into my 2024 with everything that's positive. I want to be consistent with everything, and I'm just so happy. And I just want to thank all of the authors that I've read this year. I really do. Like, it's been a journey. It's been an absolute journey of highs and lows, and especially when I was sick as well, I found like reading just really helped me through it. And yeah, I'm so excited to also say that I've decided that in 2024, my aim to read will be 100. I want to read 100 books, so I'm definitely going to try my best. I know that I can definitely do anything that I put my mind to. I always aim to read between 7 and 9 books each month, so hopefully I can really reach that. And sometimes I even read even higher than that, which is great. So it's just going to be a process, and I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't get there, but I'm also very motivated. I'm very motivated, and I can say that today I have read 70 books, even though my goal was to read 50. So I have reached 50. I surpassed it, and I'm so happy and so proud of myself. That's everything for this year, guys. That is all of the videos you're going to see. This is the very last video of this year, and I just want to thank you all so much for supporting me this year. I'm excited to just really hit the goals and upload videos and talk about whatever I want to, and just have fun. Like, this is such a fun space for me, and you are welcome to join for the ride. So if you are new here, or if you have been pending wanting to subscribe, definitely please click that subscribe button down below, and always give it a like, because it really does support my channel. And I love you all so much, and thank you so much again for watching this video. I will see you next year in my next video. Bye. Mwah.